Apologies, Rayhan was unaware that we will not be able to see details of the likes we received for episode 6, so we have decided to give the gift to the first person that comments on this video.
I think the recent news we heard was about De Bruyne deciding to leave City. And one of the questions firstly was, where would you rate him as a midfielder overall in the Premier League?
Where does he rank?
At City, I think he's probably their best ever.
Yeah, they're building
Aguero.
No.
No, we're talking about midfield or City players now.
As a City player, does he rank as the best ever City player?
Yes.
Yeah. No, as the best ever.
I mean, if you talk
You've
about
had
City's
like
history,
you've had Aguero, you've had Silva.
He's better than Silva.
You have to rank
I
him
think
higher than
Aguero,
He's better
Aguero
than
first. I'd say Aguero first. De Bruyne
You're saying
second.
Aguero first just because of that goal.
That goal
Yeah, of
changed
course.
City's.
Yeah,
that
Aguero.
goal changed City's
Of course.
destiny.
No, I mean that's iconic. Forever in Premier League
changed City, dude.
history, it's
Yeah.
iconic. But like that's saying like if freaking Darwin Núñez went and won us the
Are
league
you
in the last
comparing
minute.
Aguero?
No, but that's what I'm
Aguero
saying.
has 100 and something goals for
This
City.
is why
difference
our
is Darwin
podcast
gets
doesn't
that
get
one.
many likes because you make stupid statements like that.
Okay.
How do you say Darwin Núñez and Sergio Aguero in the same breath?
Okay.
Unless you
Okay,
say
let
Sergio
me say
Aguero
Let me say
Darwin Núñez
this.
in the face.
If Fernando Torres won us the
now
league.
he knows. You see, look what he's doing now.
Now he's got your attention.
No, Torres is a good striker. Now, if he went and scored like a last minute goal and that won us the league, Gerrard is still the best player in Liverpool.
Yeah, I agree. Okay,
And that's what De Bruyne is.
But you're comparing. I don't think then. I mean, Gerrard is a legend for Liverpool, dude. I mean, you can't compare Torres
as
as
much.
No, but you see, Kuts,
The history of-
the period that Aguero saw, Aguero was seeing like the rise of City. He came when City were still on the rise. De Bruyne found a proper City, and De Bruyne
Aguero joined before De Bruyne, huh?
way before. And De Bruyne found a more balanced City because they were already used to
Who
winning.
signed De Bruyne?
Pellegrini, if I'm not wrong.
Really? Huh?
No.
No.
He was there
came
He was
before.
there before Pep.
Pellegrini signed, and who signed Aguero? Mancini.
Mancini.
Yeah, Mancini won the league.
The first league was Mancini.
Okay.
So, my point was, Aguero saw the rough and the good.
Not
De
much of
Bruyne-
a rough.
I wouldn't say
No,
rough.
but
I mean,
yeah.
it's
Still
still
the
the other
rebuilding
game, right?
Still the rebuilding
He won
phase.
they won
He
the
won
second
it in-
season.
Mancini season, he joined.
I think he won in his second season.
Second season.
Aguero.
Aguero.
Yeah, Aguero in the second season.
And you must understand, De Bruyne played most of his football under Pep. So
Who was the best manager?
who is the best manager?
Yeah,
in the world?
but you can't.
No,
like-
but I'm
It's
just
not
saying
his fault.
Aguero played different managers and still, his performance was his performance. That's my that's my.
I mean,
so
we're not
mine is
City fans,
Aguero,
so we
mine is
can't really
Aguero, De Bruyne,
David
Silva, Vincent Kompany, maybe they.
Yeah.
So, but
Okay, so we're not even sure if De
Bruyne is
De
up there.
Bruyne is the big best player City have seen.
no, but
So
we're
then
talking
can
about the
you-
best midfielder
in the Premier League.
in the Premier League
Ever. If
Hands
he's
down.
if he's not even the best
No.
player for City,
Is who?
how can he not be? He
Kevin
thinks
De Bruyne
is the best Premier League ever.
No.
midfielder
No way.
to play in the
I don't
Premier
think
League.
he's even as good as Gerrard.
He's.
I love Gerrard.
I'd rank him third.
I
If I
love
had to
Gerrard.
rank, so
Midfielders.
you're only talking about 4 midfielders really in Premier League history. It's Gerrard, Lampard, Scholes, and De Bruyne.
De Bruyne.
Like
You're not talking about, but then you're only talking about attacking. What about like the Roy Keanes, the Vieiras? Those are great
no,
midfielders.
but these are all-rounded midfielders.
We're talking about all-rounders.
Okay.
all-rounded, right?
Okay.
And
So he's in the top 4.
Yeah,
Gerrard,
definitely.
Gerrard could do it all.
100%.
De Bruyne couldn't track
100%.
back and defend the way or play a different position. Gerrard played on the right at some point. He played
Brother,
right back at some point.
Champions League
I
final.
hear you. I understand everything you said, but De Bruyne has won far too many trophies
Bro,
for him not to
Okay,
be.
look. If
you're
you're
looking
going
at trophies-
if you're going on trophies, then you
No,
have
in
to say it's
if you're
all
talking
scores.
about in terms of potential and what a player could do,
Gerrard.
think about
I
it
think-
this way.
I think
De
it's
Bruyne
recency
was
bias.
never asked to be a right back or a centre back.
but-
you understand? He played in a he
But he
played
can't.
in
The
an
best
era,
team in the Premier
He
League.
played in an era where football was different. Okay, De Bruyne and Gerrard
Yeah.
are like maybe 4, 5, 6 years apart. prime
More.
Gerrard and prime
Way
De
more,
Bruyne,
way
maybe
more.
10 years.
10 years.
I personally feel Kevin De Bruyne as an attacking midfielder was better than Gerrard.
We're not talking about attacking midfield.
No,
We're talking
just hear
about
me out.
midfielder.
Just hear me out. Okay, he couldn't do the defensive stuff that
Yeah.
Gerrard could. De Bruyne going forward is a different ball game. His passing, his assist, his numbers are completely different.
Yeah.
Overall, I would pick, if I had to pick one,
You would pick De Bruyne,
De
over
Bruyne
Gerrard.
over Gerrard.
If you had one pick.
I'd pick De Bruyne over Gerrard.
Oh, that's your opinion, I guess. But
It is.
I think, like he said, I would put Gerrard on top of the pile. And this is not because I'm a Liverpool fan. I just think, in terms of what he gives you so much more as a player. He gives you the defensive side. He gives you the work rate. He gives you the leadership. He gives you goals. He gives you assists. He takes set. He does, dude. Gerrard. I think what we're almost taking it for granted.
I think basically the only difference between Gerrard and De Bruyne is Gerrard at least was good at defending as well. He could do it all. That's the
and the
biggest
leadership,
difference.
man. Gerrard was a captain.
De Bruyne.
Gerrard, no, De Bruyne's not a
doesn't have
leader. He's not a
leadership.
leader.
Who?
De Bruyne's not a
De
leader.
Bruyne's not a leader.
He's not going to lift you when you're down.
No, that's why they had company. I
Yeah.
think. Look, I understand where you're coming from, and I don't think. I mean, even as Liverpool, our favorite players, yours probably Torres. Mine's always been Gerrard.
Gerrard,
you know,
yeah.
There was a time when Suarez was there. I love Gerrard, but I still think in terms of the
You,
so
you're
what-
talking attacking football only.
He's saying overall.
all round.
All round.
All around.
All round. Look,
Okay, so-
No.
if you include defensive, then
Yeah.
no.
No,
Kevin
but that's all
De
round.
Bruyne
But we're
hasn't.
talking
You
about
see,
all
he
round.
hasn't played in that era. It's difficult.
No,
So then
bro,
is it okay?
yes.
But then is it right to compare the two because they're two totally different players?
We're
and styles.
talking about best midfielder in the Premier League.
Midfielder.
But midfielder, there's a
overall.
defensive side and there's
Overall.
attacking. So all round.
So if you had to pick one midfielder to play for your team,
like a box to box defending and attacking,
whatever.
Any-
If you had to pick one
Then-
midfielder, who would you pick?
then probably Gerrard.
Yeah. And that's what I mean, personally, I would
Yeah.
also pick a Gerrard over De Bruyne because of what he gives you. He gives you so much more than just attacking football.
People like you. That's why Jude Bellingham is worth so much money. He can do
box
what
to box.
Yeah.
he can do what Gerrard and Lampard did.
Lampard wouldn't defend. Man.
No,
Lampard would.
He was
would
decent.
He would do more defending than De Bruyne. I
De Bruyne
guess.
has some good stats. Earlier in his career, it wasn't always
100%.
attacking, man.
No.
He was-
Look,
he's
like you
had
said, he
some
didn't have to
really-
defend.
Yeah,
You can't blame the guy.
He's always played in a team with two
There's someone
defensive
behind him.
midfielders,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
Yes.
Fernandinho, Fernando, and stuff. That's what I'm saying. He's played in a structure.
But that's my point to you now. You put De Bruyne in that old Liverpool
Brother,
team. Do you think he would have done what Gerrard did?
There is nobody you can compare with Gerrard because Gerrard
Then
played
you've
for the
answered your question.
worst Liverpool teams.
Yes, and
okay,
still
he's
shown.
played. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
played at left back,
See,
at right back,
the-
at centre back, centre forward, false
Yes,
number 9.
yes.
He's played
Yes.
everything. So
Yes.
as a player, yes,
As a
that's
midfielder,
it. As a
all round
midfield-
midfielder, all round he could do everything. De Bruyne can't.
And that's, bro.
And you can see that like when he used to play in Belgium
yeah.
because he
Actually,
didn't have.
what age did Gerrard stop playing?
He left
Like he
Liverpool
started-
at 34.
like his
34.
form.
2:33 he left.
He left Liverpool.
Yeah.
And
the
like when
last-
you
Then he
started
went
saying
to
it's like
MLS.
form dipping because like
You-
It is last
he was
season.
he
so
was
it's similar
last
to
two
what De
seasons.
Bruyne's age is
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
form
yeah.
dipping and everything.
Similar.
that season
Like his legs,
Liverpool
he
came
lost his
second.
legs.
Where-
Like De Bruyne.
The
Yeah.
season where Gerrard slipped, right? He was Liverpool's biggest. I mean, the most assists in
Yeah.
that season
In that
was
season.
Liverpool. He was playing quarterback.
And-
He was just
yeah,
spraying
yeah.
the ball around. He was
And I
doing
think
what
he had like
Alonso
10
used to
goals
do.
as 12. He had so many double figure goals also.
The only thing was he slipped. Otherwise, it was. It is what it is.
Look, I mean, you can't. I understand trophies are important. So if you're looking at trophies, like you said, then Scholes will probably be even better than Gerrard.
Scholes.
I mean, if you're looking at trophies, but man, I can't really judge. I didn't see prime Scholes. I didn't really watch prime Scholes play. I only got into football when Scholes was at his prime, but I never used to watch a lot of United. But for me, if you're gonna rank them, De Bruyne comes in the top 3. I'd rank him over Scholes.
100%.
But would I rank him above Lampard? I don't know.
See, mine
I
would
think I
be.
got Gerrard, Lampard,
De Bruyne.
De Bruyne, Scholes.
I'd rank him above Scholes, but
Mine would be De Bruyne, Gerrard, Lampard.
Okay, so you're saying he's the best Premier League
midfielder
Okay.
ever.
What about like all time?
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
No, ever like across all leagues.
No,
Like
you
in
got
the world.
Zidane's and
Oh,
man, you
no.
got
Oh,
so
okay,
many.
wait, who? You say Zidane. Then
That says it.
But then
then who?
Who?
After Zidane?
this.
Seedorf.
No. You just say names.
No, I mean if you talk about all time, I mean then you've got
Look, I haven't
you've got
watched
so
a lot
many.
of
You've
the-
got
I haven't
Platini,
watched
Like
a
whatever
lot.
you've
we've
got
watched.
Platini.
No, what we've watched.
Okay.
Oh, to be fair, we haven't watched so much of Zidane. He retired in 2005.
Yeah, even Zidane.
Yeah.
I didn't see.
I didn't see.
Prime
I
Zidane.
watched
So
a
then,
little
so
bit
then you
of
wouldn't
Zidane.
say Zidane. So
I
what would you
wouldn't
say?
say Zidane.
So you'd say De Bruyne is the
Iniesta,
best.
Xavi.
For me, they were different players.
They won a lot.
Yeah, they're different. See, this is what I'm saying. We're talking about Premier League because it's
Yeah.
what we see.
Maybe we watch more of it. Yeah.
Gerrard never even got close to the Xavis and Iniesta, in the Ballon d'Ors and so on,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
of the numbers or whatever politics
Yeah,
or
yeah,
whatever
yeah.
there is. That's a story for another day.
Yeah.
In the Premier League, I tell you, there's a part of me that believes that there is nobody that can do what Gerrard does. Or
That's
did
true.
for Liverpool,
Yeah,
right?
that's true, yeah.
But it's not De Bruyne's fault. He wasn't asked to defend.
Yeah, well,
But
It was-
you're judging him based
understand.
on.
It's
he
not-
played different strikers. He played with, so many different players. He played with top players, and he was still the first name on the sheet, on the team sheet. You
But
understand?
don't you think the reason he was so good was also because he played with top players?
Fair enough.
he
but
never-
Got assists because he,
he
had
never
Aguero
used to
scoring.
do. Okay, well, to be fair, Gerrard never used to do much with England at that point.
see,
But De Bruyne also is the same.
that's what we're saying.
And he was the
talking
golden era of
we talking
Belgian
about
football.
the Premier League. Say, okay, so let's put it this way: Is De Bruyne the best Premier League midfielder in the last 10 years?
Yeah,
100%.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so we all agree on
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
You bring Gerrard in the equation.
Yeah.
Okay, Lampard, Scholes, and all that, because like you said, they were all from different eras and they sort of did different things. The only person that got close to De Bruyne,
In the last 10 years?
no, when in
Oh,
terms
okay.
of what they did was probably
It was
Gerrard.
Gerrard, yeah. No, last 10 years, I'd say De Bruyne has been the
Hands down.
best midfielder in the Premier League. I agree. But, I mean, like, my opinion, Gerrard has
Slightly
the
above.
edge.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I would say.
You know how much I loved Yaya Toure. Brother, that
He
guy
is a very underrated
was-
midfielder.
He is one of the most underrated footballers,
Yeah, yeah.
period.
Yeah.
I would
He
say
was-
he's underrated.
He isn't
He's
given
underrated,
he's never
dude.
mentioned
He's
when you
never
talk
been
about
given
the
the
best
mention
midfielders
now.
in the Premier League.
Yeah,
brother,
one of
that
them.
guy-
But
How
maybe he
long-
only did it for 3
He
seasons.
didn't. He wasn't in the Prem for long.
Yeah.
And,
4 seasons.
He only really
Yeah,
played
that's-
well for 2 or 3 seasons.
and he only played well for like 2.
Yeah,
I
but
think one season he got double digits in goals, and it's crazy. Like his numbers were something else.
I
Man.
remember him running through
Yeah.
Villa Park in the rain. Yo,
Yeah, man, he was good. But
That
I
was
mean,
a
look,
machine.
I mean,
But
Yeah.
yeah. like you said, it's only been 2 seasons of Yaya Toure that we saw that.
that's not considered like
yeah.
it's
So
a good season.
So I think to say what we can conclude is in the last 10 years, hands down, he's been the best
Yeah,
midfielder.
yeah.
KDB.
Okay, so I guess that's our discussion on Kevin De Bruyne. I think he deserved a segment. He's been,
Yeah,
at least
of
when
course.
as far as we've been watching Premier League, he's been one of the best. I think now we can just talk about just quickly. We're looking at the season. It's coming to an end now, and maybe judging in terms of achievements of clubs, who you could say from the clubs that are actually maybe possibly about to win things, who would be the happiest at the end of the season, or who would feel they've achieved the best. So you could look at Liverpool winning the league, United possibly winning the Europa, Arsenal winning Champions League.
I think United will be the happiest. They got in the Champions League.
I mean, in terms of achievement, yeah.
They come 14th and then the Champions League.
No, but like, I mean, would United fans? I mean, of course they'd be
They'd
happy.
be
Of course they'd
Oh
take
my
it.
God.
But
Dude,
then, like,
you
this
won't
is
hear
the
the end
this is
of
the
it.
conversation I was having with him. Like, you say that it's still it's a good end to a very poor season.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
That's all you need.
Yeah,
You see, what
I don't
what
think
you
anyone's-
paper over the cracks,
No,
right?
no one's any under illusion.
nobody is.
Wouldn't United fans
when we
still-
won the league, when we won the Champions League in 2005, okay,
Yeah.
we had a rubbish team.
But not this
Okay.
bad. We came fifth.
That's another. The league was not that competitive.
No,
but okay,
we've
let's-
never been this like 14th.
We've
man.
never been
That's my
14th, okay? But my point is, at the end of the season, if you win the Champions League and you get back in the Champions League, that's all that counts.
Yeah, I agree.
Imagine, say United win the Europa and end up in the Champions League, and a club like Chelsea who spent so much and done so much
don't even
get
they
into
come
the
sixth.
Champions League. They come sixth. I think
It's say Arsenal don't win the Champions League and United win the Europa League.
They've achieved the same.
They've had a better. No,
They've
they've
won
had a
a
better
better
season.
season.
Trophy. Yeah, they've won a
Trophy
trophy.
wise, yeah, they've done well.
Yeah, but would you say they've had a I mean, you're judging it based on them winning the Europa, but you can't take away from the fact that they have just as many points as played games.
no, I understand.
When you look back at in history, you will see
And remember the trophies.
2025
Yeah.
Europa League
Trophies.
winners.
So you see, the thing is,
You're
for
not going
me-
to say 14th
Yeah,
or whatever.
14th
Okay.
place in the league.
No one remembers. What did we come like
Yeah.
8 years ago?
Yeah, no, I agree.
We-
but my
you
point
don't
here
remember
is
that.
you're paper. So, like, as a fan,
Fourth.
yes, you want them to, you want them to get into the Champions League. Fair enough, but you also, like you said, you don't want to be under an illusion to think, oh, we made Champions League. Now all of a sudden, we're going to be we're in a better place.
No, but
they've got to improve their
every
squad.
United fan
To be
knows
honest,
this shit.
no.
Every
There
United
are some
fan.
that will be delusional and think.
No,
This
no,
is
no,
what
but
I'm
like-
saying.
No, I think United
Okay,
fans are
let's
more
not say,
realistic
let's not
now.
say United fans. Every United like person associated Ratcliffe knows this team is crap. Amorim knows this team is crap. They're going to have a big
You see,
summer.
so my point
and if
here-
they make Champions League, that's such a big bonus. They can attract players.
Exactly.
And they
Bro,
get so
point
much
is
money.
this-
They've been
Still
able
have
to
to
attract. They've spent almost $1 billion.
They
and what
still,
have they done
exactly,
with that money?
and they still have to build.
Ratcliffe. Yeah.
They've been saying this for how many seasons now? We are building. Dude, every
If we make
season we are
Champions League,
building.
we're building. If we
No,
make
but
Champions
you
League,
see
we're
now,
building.
we'll go back into this debate and this conversation will be about United. The point is, they've got new ownership now, and they have decided to change a few things here and there. If they get into the Champions League by winning the Europa, it's going to be a successful season because one, like he said, they'll get money. Two, they'll attract players, and now they might get the chance to rebuild the way they want to rebuild under Amorim.
if they give him-
if
give
they
him the
give
time.
him the money and they'll give him one season for sure. They cannot fire
One
him.
season is not enough to build
No,
a team
but
like
they
that.
If
cannot
they haven't
fire
fired him already,
If
he'll
they,
stay.
if they,
because
if they,
he's
if
had
they end
sackable
up
form.
14th or 15th next season, he's going to get sacked for sure.
100%.
He's not going to get
They won't
another
even
But then
season
that
of
that's,
far.
this
you're just going
performance.
back into the same cycle. Then,
Yeah.
then United's not improving as a
But
club.
brother, you cannot have a club of United stature.
Yeah.
You know what,
if
they
the
need like
relegation
a-
fight was a
But you
bit
see,
more
that's-
serious
but you
this
see,
season,
that's the problem.
United
I'm
were
telling
in
you.
big trouble.
But that's the problem. You cannot go back and keep depending on the history and saying United was the biggest club ever, and because of that, we cannot manage or give a manager, 2 seasons. In 2 seasons, he has to do something. That's a wrong way to manage football now. That's what I think.
Look, if you have faith in Amorim in terms of his style, because honestly, this season, Amorim hasn't fought his corner really well in any way.
But it's the team he took over, and
But
it's
you
just
see, this is why I
toxic.
say horses for courses. You have to play to the strength of your team.
Yeah.
He came with a set style of play of 5 at the back, 2 wing backs. United don't have that.
Yeah, I agree there. Which was wrong.
So you've
He
got
should
to
have,
adjust
yeah.
it. I'm not saying you have to
You
stick
say
to your
that.
philosophy and your principles.
You say that, and Klopp came and played his formation from the start.
Fair enough,
And-
but
and
but
we
he
were
played. He
For the first season, like we were
But you,
hot
see,
and cold.
but you see, that's why they gave him time to do that.
Yeah, they gave
So it doesn't make sense, even if next season Amorim has a bad season, they should not sack him.
No, but
should
then they
trust
need to
him.
buy the
No,
right players.
it depends.
Yeah.
It depends what bad is. Like you can't not see any positive
Niju,
momentum.
you see,
like
you guys need to understand these are businesses. If businesses are not doing well, they lose revenue, they lose market share, they lose market value, they lose so many more things than
like
the
a minimum,
But if you sack Amorim, then who?
a minimum
Yes.
has to be Europe.
doesn't matter who
Next
they
even
get.
conference.
Dude,
Yeah.
they're in a never-ending cycle, and that's what I think. To be honest, they should have learned from their mistakes, and they should not go back into that cycle of sacking a manager that they think is not, bringing them back
So
to the
you
top.
are saying, let's assume United get into the Champions League for now.
Yeah.
Okay, let's say they win the Europa because technically they're the strongest team in
Yeah.
the draw now. Okay, they get into the Champions League, and instead of going forward, they go back and they do what the 14, 15. You think they should still give Amorim another year?
Yeah, I think so.
That's not
That's the
happening.
only way to build a team back to the top. That's what I think. Liverpool's
Because they
been through
need to
it.
see this. You see, with Liverpool,
But
the
look,
thing was there was growth.
We saw progress.
We saw progress
We saw
even in the way Liverpool
That's what I'm saying.
played.
This was his first season. Like his first season,
No, don't
he didn't
s-
have time to buy
Don't
the
judge
players.
him on this season.
No, you
Yeah,
don't
next
judge him
season.
on this
And
season.
you shouldn't judge him on next season because he
But
needs
next
to bring
season-
in the players. And
Which he will. He's brought that
He's already had one.
But then
one
you can't.
window.
Then that you'd count that as his first season.
Yeah,
Isn't
fine. We're not saying no, but see, he's brought that Dorgu guy.
Yeah.
Now tell me, why would you play a 17-year-old or Luke Shaw? You put him on the bench, and even this guy, you put him on the bench, and you play a 17-year-old.
No,
You understand?
you know.
He played that Harry Amas or something and
Oh,
left
is it?
back over the weekend.
He's actually been benching Mino as well, isn't it?
Yeah, mine was
Yeah,
injured.
but that I don't know. There's
I don't
some
think he
issue
likes
there.
it.
Yeah,
I don't think
there's
he
some
likes
issue
it.
there.
Yeah.
Even Mino yesterday, he was not even like excited, like celebrating. And he scored a cracker.
Actually, if you think about it, a lot of players are unhappy after Amorim came in. It was
Yeah.
Garnacho doesn't look happy, Mino doesn't look happy. A
But
lot
I
of
think
players
there's
just
going
don't
to be
seem
a big
happy.
clear out.
Bro, but the thing is, you talk about clear out. Okay, who
Okay,
wants
okay.
these players?
No more
We'll go
United.
back
Yeah.
into
No more
United.
United.
We'll
No more
go back
United.
into
Yeah,
United.
it's a cycle.
Why is
So
it
It's
anyway.
a
that bad?
cycle.
Yeah, no, we always like. I mean, the thing is, there's so much to talk. Like when a club is at like what they're going through, there's a lot to talk about. Anyway, look. So at the end of the
You should,
season,
you should bring a United.
United
Yes,
will
next
at
one,
some
yeah,
point.
I think people
Just,
think we are United.
So, wait,
The amount
so
of United
what we've said is, from all the clubs that could possibly win, United would have been
I think if
Arsenal winning the Champions League for the first time ever.
That's big.
That's big.
no, that's massive.
That's
Yeah.
massive,
That's massive.
right? So they would
But
be the biggest
okay,
winners of the season.
Let's say
I would actually
let's
think
say
us-
Arsenal don't win the Champions League and United don't win the Europa. Then I think
Oh, then what?
Yeah, it's obviously Liverpool winning the
yeah,
league.
but like Newcastle's just just as good.
Nah,
Yeah.
nah.
Oh yeah.
First trophy in
Yeah.
what is it?
In like
20
500 years or something. I don't know.
56 years.
Yeah, some crazy.
Some bad
Yeah,
no, but
then-
like
then
that.
you
See,
probably-
if
Making Champions
Arsenal,
League.
if
Yeah,
Arsenal win the Champions League, it's probably a bigger achievement
It
than
is
Liverpool
because
winning the
it's-
Premier League.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, so we
100% by
so
far.
we can agree on that.
Yeah.
And I think if Arsenal don't win the Champions League, then Liverpool winning the league is a massive achievement.
I
think-
think, but
given
like I
the
think with
reason,
him, I think it's debatable
because it's
between
no, it's
Newcastle
not.
and Liverpool winning
Slott's
the league.
first season.
Yeah.
Okay, we weren't even given top four. To be fair,
Top
pundits
four
did-
was a good achievement.
Top
Yeah.
four would
And
have
that
been a
to
good
fourth.
achievement.
Yeah.
Yeah, that to fourth. Okay.
Yeah.
Top four-
It was City,
Arsenal.
Arsenal.
And then it was between
People were saying United.
Chelsea.
People were saying United.
Yeah, United,
And then,
Chelsea. There was a lot of others.
Spurs also under Ange because they expected him to do something in the
Yeah,
second.
we also didn't have much hope.
Look, Liverpool. We as Liverpool fans said at least top four. So
Yeah.
I think. But the point is,
I think we're
Liverpool,
underplaying
Liverpool,
us
Liverpool winning the league is underplayed because of how easy it's been. People think, oh yeah, they got
Yeah.
lucky with it, but just the fact that new manager,
Yeah.
no new signing, even the two signings that
I think
we
it
did.
came as a shock to everyone.
Yeah, even the two
It's-
new signings that we've done, one hasn't even come to Liverpool, and the other hasn't even played as much to get a medal. Bicharo.
Yeah, exactly.
He'll probably win the league.
Hopefully he plays a
Slot
few
keeps
now.
him
play the
from-
last few games.
So yeah, look, I agree. Okay, so I mean, fair enough. Arsenal would probably winning the Champions League would probably be the biggest
with the
winners of the
injuries,
season.
with the injuries and everything they've got, yeah, it'll be
Fair
a big
enough.
thing. Yeah, it'll be
Yeah.
big.
Yeah, big game.
After I'll just watch. We're gonna lose now. It's like a jinx.
So now we get to the fun part.
Yeah.
Controversial statements.
Okay, so all three of us made some controversial statements. I know
Last
Niju
time.
wasn't there in that episode, but
What was
we
it?
all said so. Rehan said that Cole Palmer was overrated. Right? That's fair to say, right? You said he's not as good as people
After
thought.
he said that, Cole Palmer
I know.
is really underrated. Yeah, it's like
Now Cole Palmer is not even rated at all. And it's crazy. Ever since you said that, it's
Do
literally
not
after
blame
that.
me for his.
Inshallah.
Do not blame me for his
What's
issues.
going to happen to Inter Milan?
No, yeah, I know what. And even KDB.
dark horses. 8-0 by Barca.
And watch now. De Bruyne's not going to score again a
I
single assist.
remember, I remember killing Matic,
Yes.
killing Ozil,
Ozil.
De
Many.
Gea.
You've done it to many.
Not too many.
You've done it to many, but
No, but
fair enough.
I just thought people were waxing lyricals or
But
Cole
he was-
Palmer. They
he
were
was-
saying he's as good as Salah and Bellingham and Foden.
I don't think anyone said
no,
that.
they were
but
talking about
No.
there
You know
was a
who's
game
got
against
numbers?
Brighton
Foden
where he
has
scored
been
four. He scored 4 against Brighton. Gary Neville said he's the best player in the Premier League. How? There's Mo Salah there.
Yeah.
You know.
No,
So I'm just saying, I don't have anything against Cole Palmer, but he cannot do what
But you were
Salah has
spot
done
on.
or
You were
Saka has
spot
done.
on, yeah.
Players, you know, it's so easy to say, oh, this player is a legend, that player is a legend. Nowadays, those
We get
words are
carried
just
away.
thrown
Yeah,
away.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
No, okay.
it's not.
So I think your statement was pretty I mean, it sounded really controversial at that point, but it seems to be accurate now.
No, I think he'll come back. He'll do good. He'll do good.
The fact that you've said
Cole Palmer and family, I have nothing against you. You shall be back.
the fact that you said he's back, he's not going to score a single goal.
Now he's not going to score.
You know, and to be fair, to prove my point, I've had you in my fantasy team from December till now. I have
May
not
you have
showed
him
you.
till the end of the season.
Why
Did you
are
say
you
if
looking at the camera and
Cole
talking to Cole Palmer there?
Huh?
Is he looking at the camera and talking to Cole Palmer there?
Yeah,
No,
just in
he
case
thinks
Cole Palmer's
Cole Palmer-
looking
No, what did he say? He said if Cole Palmer's watching, he's ready to give him a bag.
25 bags. 25 bags.
No, 25 bags.
Yeah, maybe that's what he needs. Avoid Shima to.
We need to talk about the Milli Meal bag because our last
We'll come back.
Our last
That's the end.
Can you put it like somewhere here?
Yeah.
We'll say
we'll
who the
come
winner
back.
is of
We'll
the
come
Milli
back.
Meal bag.
We'll come back to that in
So,
the end. But yeah, so
My controversial statement in that episode was about Ange, and I think it's been spot on also. He's getting sacked. There's no way Ange is going to last past the season.
They could win the Europa League.
He always wins something in the second
Imagine
season.
Spurs go. That's the left forward.
the worst.
Spurs are in the Champions League.
Yeah.
He won the second leg, and he's like, yeah, so I'm going to be around for a little
longer.
longer than
Can you
you
imagine?
expect.
It could be a United.
No, it's
Spurs.
a semi-final.
that's
the
just United Spurs
United
semis.
Spurs is the
Oh.
semi.
Oh, it's done. It's okay.
Semi.
Also, only one other. Oh,
Only one of the dads will
Bilbao
go through.
play that Norwegian
Spurs.
team.
I don't know, man. I'm
Spurs.
not even following.
Yeah. Come on,
I'll support
Spurs.
Spurs.
Yeah. Look, okay. To be fair, if he wins the Europa and gets into Champions League, they'll probably keep him. But he's been so bad.
No, they
Man,
won't keep him. They'll
Spurs are so bad.
You Spurs are a team that fired Mourinho
In a
5
final-
days
before
before
a
the
final.
final.
Yeah.
Spurs will fire him.
They're shot at the cup.
Spurs will fire him.
Yeah. Okay, and then we had Kutz who said that Van Dijk was more important to Liverpool than Salah, which at that point I didn't agree with, but I think you're right. I think Van Dijk actually is probably more important, just because of everything, including leadership. And we've seen now Salah disappear in a lot of big games, and I think again this season it goes to the final, the Carling Cup final, the PSG ties, when you really need him to step. And I'm not blaming him only; the whole team kind of didn't play well. But you look at your stars, and Salah being a star, I think disappeared in 2 of the biggest games that we should have, the way he should have stepped up. And okay, so I think you're right. Van Dijk is probably, and now anyway they've signed on, so great. Now, so you want to do a controversial?
We'll start with the guest.
I don't know if
I don't know if I've got any controversial statements.
that would be too controversial. I don't think you'd agree.
I mean, it's an opinion.
So you've got a controversial.
No. I was going to say, would you say Arteta would have achieved just as much as Wenger, but not possibly because Wenger
No.
couldn't win the Champions League. But
No.
Arteta is going to win you your first Champions
No,
League.
not gonna. Might.
I mean, if he does.
Even
Would you
Wenger
rank
would
him?
have, could have. But
No,
didn't,
but
so.
I mean, assuming Arteta
Would I
does
rank
win
him
you.
better than Wenger?
Not better. I think what Wenger did. Wenger's a legend. I don't think you can say that.
No.
So I guess that's not really.
But
doesn't
that's
make sense.
Yeah.
saying Slot won the league in the first season and Klopp didn't win. Is Slot better than Klopp? No way.
No.
Klopp
Judging-
changed Liverpool.
Yeah.
We were
That's
in the
I told
doldrums.
you. Klopp was our Shankly.
Yeah.
Slot is
Yeah.
our Paisley.
So
Well, hopefully.
hopefully.
Paisley won a lot. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's coming, boy. It's coming.
But I mean, controversial statement.
So
Do you think there's
if you want, we
anything?
can give you time. We can start with.
Yeah, start with Kutz. Let me come back.
Okay, you
man.
go first. Let me
Okay,
think of-
let me
He
go.
has
Okay,
one,
but I
right?
think I already said it. I think it's controversial for me to think. I think Manchester City's dynasty is over.
Okay, fine. That's a decent enough statement.
Yeah. Okay. And when you say that, you mean they're not going to win the league for a while.
Yeah.
Just the
I
league.
think they're going
Just the
through a
league.
dip now, and at least a good 2 seasons.
Will Guardiola stay?
Guardiola will probably leave.
So he won't see the rise
Guardiola does
But
not
he's just
stay
signed
back.
a new contract, isn't he?
No,
Yeah.
he hasn't.
No,
Has
he
he?
did.
Is it confirmed?
Yeah,
Yes.
he did.
That's why he signed
Contracts
Well,
don't
maybe
mean
what?
anything.
It's like another
but-
year. How many
No,
years?
he signed 2 years.
The reason he
2
got a divorce was also because of that.
This guy.
No, you're joking. I'm kidding you.
I know. Yeah.
I actually
Why
think.
is it such
yeah.
a sad topic for
We
you?
don't need to talk about social. These
Okay, so my
personal
statement
matters.
is their dynasty is over, and I think Pep's tactics have been caught out, and he needs to change things.
So you think that Pep style of football has now reached its end?
Yeah.
But the other way of looking at it is half the managers in the Premier League is either worked under Pep or they followed Pep.
Yeah, but
so
that's-
they know
that's
how
exactly
many of them
what
are
Pep is
successful.
going to do.
But it's the same
How many
thing
of them are successful?
No, but you look at Arteta, Maresca,
Is Arteta successful?
Enrique.
Is Maresca successful?
No, but that's what I'm saying. They've been caught out because now people are copying and pasting the same
Yeah.
thing that he's
So
doing. So he
maybe
needs to
he's
evolve
right.
now.
Maybe
yeah.
the whole thing
it's
is-
what happened with Jose. You know, he had
Yeah.
that 10-year
Yeah.
period
Yeah.
where he
Yeah.
was the best, and now
That tactic doesn't
that
work.
tactic doesn't work anymore. So yeah, fair enough.
I think maybe I can go.
yeah.
I don't think the Premier League is the most entertaining league in the world.
This year, yeah.
I think
I'd
it's
agree.
boring.
I'd agree. This
Honestly, I watch. You watch the Premier League now. There's no exciting games. There's absolutely no game. Is there a memorable? If you had to look back at this season, is there a game that you really remember?
Yeah, Liverpool Spurs, the 6-3 or 3-6 or whatever. It is.
What happened in
Yeah,
that game?
but-
Name some. Who scored? Who are the 6 scorers?
There
What do you remember? The goals?
Salah, Szoboszlai.
So basically,
No, as in, I hear you.
Bro,
Look,
there's
we can
nothing
judge
memorable.
that. We can judge that by saying the 3 relegation slots are done. The winner, we
very
knew.
early.
Yeah, the winner also.
We knew by
We
Feb.
knew. We're not boasting or anything, but
I knew
technically
it by
people
December.
knew.
Don't worry.
Technically,
Reverse
people knew
psychology.
the winner.
Yeah.
The Champions League slots
It's
are the
only the-
ones.
yeah.
Second to seventh is
It's competitive, but look, it's not like it's
like Arsenal could not come second.
Yeah. It's actually possible. It's he's
Newcastle's
right.
only like 4 points
A
behind.
few more draws, and we literally back
Newcastle's in form.
Yeah.
Newcastle's 4 points
We
behind.
could even be fighting for 4th position, depending how the next 6 games
I think
go.
you're safe.
I wouldn't say that.
No.
but-
I think you're safe top 4, but
How's that for a controversial statement? Arsenal lose the Champions League and come sixth.
and then Spurs get to the Champions League. No, but personally, I feel we're banking. I mean, we say Premier League. Yes, we watch it. Of course, our clubs play in it, but the quality of the Premier League has dropped so much this season, and I think proof is the fact that Liverpool's winning the league. I'm a Liverpool fan, but man,
then,
this Liverpool
so
team
then
is.
if that's your statement, so then which league has done better?
I think the La Liga is way more entertaining in terms of goals. There's more exciting games. There's higher scoring games. I don't watch much of the Bundesliga, so I can't really
But
say
did you
much.
just say La Liga is inferior at the start of this league? You
More
said Anthony
exciting.
doing
More
well.
exciting.
No, I think,
it is more
I think
exciting.
the Premier League has had more goals than La Liga.
Yeah, but
La Liga is more exciting, like number 4 to 1.
Yeah,
That's
there's always the top. But you look at the title race in the La Liga.
it. Right
Atletico
now,
were in
Premier
it.
League is exciting, number 2 till number 7. It's
No,
exciting.
yeah, but 2 to 7. Okay, La Liga till
1 to 4.
till 3 weeks ago, Atletico was in the title race. Okay, they've now dropped a bit off, but there was till 3 weeks ago there were 3 teams fighting for the
Yeah.
league. Liverpool were pretty sure we were kind of
A while
as
ago,
going
yeah.
to win the league like 2
Yeah.
months ago.
Yeah.
You know, from Feb you could say Liverpool have won the league. How I judge it is, look, put this Liverpool team up against the winners of the last 5 years of the Champions.
Yeah, fair enough.
We'd lose to all those.
No, I think
The quality's dropped a lot.
We agree with you when you said this year it's been a dip. The Premier League hasn't been great, and I think a
100%.
lot of them have said
It's nothing memorable.
It's very difficult now to if you look at all the teams in the Premier League, other than Ipswich, Leicester, and Southampton, all the other 3 teams are like they're never like easy.
they're no easy
Easy
games.
Yeah.
fixtures like you
West
would say
Ham-
we're gonna
And,
dump
and
this
to be
team.
honest, I mean, this is coming from a different perspective, which is just, the top 2 teams, which is Arsenal and Liverpool right now. But if you think about it, Newcastle fans are bloody excited.
Yeah, 100%. They play good
Forest
football.
fans are excited.
Yeah.
So for them, it's been a brilliant
Liverpool fans
exciting
are
season.
excited also. we're getting to win the league, and we'll actually would get to see a bus parade. Even if it's on TV, we'll get to see it. Klopp
The
might
most
be
exciting thing we're looking forward to is hopefully Klopp being there. for the
Yeah.
parade.
He is confirmed.
Oh yeah, there you go.
there. And we'll probably host a dinner for United
Yeah, I
fans.
know. No, but look, I mean, that I just feel personally, I feel the whole quality of the league or the excitement of the league has gone down a lot. We used to watch. I mean, if you look back, you still look back at some of the classic games like 4, 5 years ago, and 6 years ago, and 7, 8, 10 years ago, and you remember them. You know, the memorable big games. I don't think there's any memorable
the top
big games.
4 is
now.
not what it used to be.
But that's also like
Because in the last
I'm not
change
saying,
in-
okay, yeah.
like you say this season, but what about last season?
No, but
Like
last
there
season
was
was
a, there
exciting.
was a title
Quality.
race, but like what
Yeah.
was the
There was only 2 teams.
It was
again
still
in
only
the
2
title
teams,
race.
yeah,
but
like,
at least we went to the wire.
the like what's the game you remember from last season?
I mean, I remember Liverpool games, I guess.
But you see,
But like
this
this-
is if you listen to the pundits also, and if you follow this whole podcast and all that, all the pundits say the same thing, that it's because of how the games are being managed.
more
Managers are micromanaging
Yeah,
how
it's
you
very
move, where you
tactical.
move, which
Yes.
direction you go, how much you
Yes.
run, when you press, when you.
Yeah.
There's no freedom.
It's tactical.
Yes.
There's
It's
no
very
freedom.
tactical.
If you know back in the day where people used to dribble,
Yes.
people used to stand up and clap.
Exactly.
Now you
Yeah.
dribble, the manager tells
Blast
you
you.
you're a
Yeah.
showboat.
Yes, yes.
You know when we were
And
growing
you
up,
dropped for the next
when
game.
we were growing
But
up,
that's
we
why I think
remember
PSG
you could even get a yellow card
JJ
for
Okocha
showboating.
doing those.
Yeah.
JJ Okocha doing those skills of
Yes,
Rivaldo
and
and
even though that he
Ronaldinho.
was, it had no outcome.
Yeah,
There was no positive
And
outcome
we'd
from
be
the
like,
skill.
yo,
Now
yo.
Anthony does a spin.
And people,
You laugh at him.
Okay, Anthony is a
but
gone
that's
case,
not-
but
There's nothing.
No, but I agree with him
no,
in the
but
sense
you
it's
see,
more tactical now.
It's more tactical, so
And
maybe that's why.
don't you think that
football-
spoiled the game?
Yeah, it's of course.
But that's not just the Premier League. That's
Overall,
across.
look,
No,
the
but
effect of
I think the Premier League has actually caught up with all the other leagues that were more
That were more
tactical.
No, but
Yeah.
Premier League is just now it's getting to a level where it's just too tactical, where you have no freedom to do anything.
play, to
Even
express
if you
yourself,
dribble,
yeah.
like back in the
But-
day when
but
somebody
wouldn't
used to dribble, like if say an attacking midfielder is running with the ball, like say Yaya or Jude
Yeah,
Bellingham, whatever.
yeah.
If they dribble, they would go forward and take
go,
a shot.
yes.
Now you see that. Now you do
They'll
that
pull it
and then
back
pass it to
and
the
back-
guy.
yeah.
What's the point?
It's about not losing the ball. Possession.
But wouldn't you say that's football evolving?
no, it's
No,
not evolving.
It's going back.
Because I feel exactly. I feel because it's a sport, and a sport is supposed to entertain you. And are we entertained as much now
As
as
what
we
we were
were 5
before?
years
No.
ago?
Yeah,
I don't
no,
think so.
no.
I think we were more entertained
having
back
the
in the day.
Brazilian team with all that
Yeah,
skill.
man,
and,
yeah, like
you don't see
football was
that.
entertaining, man. Like even
There's not a lot of goals now in football.
Yeah, it's.
But
it's
that's why Wenger wanted to bring back change that
rule,
offside.
yeah.
yeah.
But you see, that's why I think, and I think a lot of it has an influence of Guardiola. The man
Yeah.
has really influenced football. He changed football with that Barcelona team, and then everyone went very tactical. And almost now, it
Everyone's
might
doing
be a
the same
good
thing,
thing
yeah.
that kind of football is dying out, and because I mean, you look at
It'll
it,
still
dude.
be tactical.
I think
I
it'll
think,
be more
I think
tactical.
now football has
It's more scientific than it is,
I think
entertainment.
there are certain phases or certain areas in a pitch where freedom is allowed. And,
Where,
like
in the current football, where is the freedom?
Defenders, where you can pass back to the keeper.
Okay.
no,
Centre
no, I'm
back
saying,
and
I'm saying like
30-yard pass.
if you're like in the one of the final thirds, like, and you're on the wing, you can try dribble there because the risk there,
No.
if you lose the ball, is not as bad as if you lose it in the center.
It's
of
a
the park.
risk-based game now.
Yeah.
Okay. But this is exactly it. Like we look at, so this is exactly what Slot did when Klopp. The change he made was when you're attacking, don't lose the ball. You only go for an attack.
controlled. It's a controlled attack.
It's more controlled,
Yeah.
and it's about getting more out of the attack. So if you're not sure you're going to score, come back.
Yeah, it's
Whereas-
possession based.
Will,
It's
Yeah,
literally
just-
pass it
it's
around.
all about possession
Keep-
now.
keep building
whereas
the
Klopp,
face.
Whereas Klopp was attack 20 times, you're bound to score 5.
Yeah.
Okay, so but we were entertained, man.
Yeah.
Like Mane, Firmino, man, we were more entertained. Like I look
Yeah,
at
of
this
course.
season, and I mean, it's
you know, like if
But-
you look at football now and you compare it to when we were growing up, right? When we had the Alonso, Gerrard, and all that, right? what Alonso used to do is what Van Dijk is doing now.
Imagine that's
But-
a change.
Yeah.
I'll tell you,
What
there's a
Ederson-
high
That's what I
chance
said. Yeah, defenders.
if there's a high chance if you actually had someone like Slot against Madrid in those finals,
We'd win.
we could have won.
I think those are now you're assuming.
No, I'm saying with a bit
Yeah.
more tactics because we, didn't
were
play
open.
with tactics.
We were more open
We were
at the
just-
back.
We were gung ho.
But that was our strength, right? Like
That was our game. But
yeah.
But we didn't lose the games by that many. It was just
No,
here,
yeah.
it was more,
we
those
lost
games.
one because of the keeper.
Yeah,
I mean, one final.
Courtois was too good.
but- no, and the other one was
Carries.
because of
Oh, yeah,
carries.
carries.
So I guess no,
Both
but
games.
I agree. Maybe we would have been more in control of the game and all.
I
but
think in general, football trend is more like it's more defensive and stuff. I mean, even if you look at Arteta, okay, we're talking about Liverpool and stuff. If you look at Arteta, that Arsenal team is more Mourinho-ish than it is
yeah,
Guardiola-ish.
it is. Yes,
This-
you're
this
right.
season.
You're right.
This
It's-
season, not last season.
Keep the ball. Keep the
I
ball.
don't
Keep
know.
the ball.
Last season, I
Maybe,
think
maybe
we
as
were
a fan
more-
you'd know better,
Yeah.
but when I watch Arsenal,
No.
when
I
we used
think
to
this
watch
season we're
Arsenal
more-
under Wenger
Yeah.
and the Ljungbergs and the Perez and
Those days
Vieiras,
are gone.
They don't
those
have
days,
that free-flowing-
There was
Yeah.
flag-
But they had a point last season when
Think
they were
about,
just banging
think
goals.
about,
Yeah, that's
This
what I'm
season,
saying.
I agree.
Yeah.
You're more defensive.
This season was
yeah.
so defensive.
think
It's like
about Henri
Just-
on the
we
wing.
conceded
This season-
conceded more goals than we did
That's
last
because
season.
of injuries.
Yeah, but this season has just all been about
It's
set
been,
pieces.
to be honest, it's been boring football.
Exactly. It's been boring. football.
It's your coach that's your set piece coach.
He's
that,
changed. I don't know
He
what.
ruined the
Has
game.
done the most.
Okay, so we
But like,
agree with
but it
your...
gave us. But you
talk
see, the
about,
thing is,
you talk about tactics. You talk about all that, like how Newcastle practiced a whole week with Dan Burn
And it worked.
on corners.
Yeah, and it worked. Yeah, in a
It's-
final. Look, it's different when you're playing a final. You play a final. To
No,
win
I'm
it.
saying this is what tactics do. Like if you
Yeah.
prepare, if you have enough time to prepare for a game,
Yeah,
that's what the tactics
fair
do.
enough. Look,
So,
I mean,
so
yeah,
that's
my
your
statement is, yeah,
statement.
Premier,
What was
yeah.
yours? Did you make one?
I didn't
he
make
hasn't.
one. What is my controversials? Oh, I think I said it. Spurs are going to be in the Champions League.
I mean, that's not really a controversial
It is.
statement.
wait,
It's
who's,
just a
who's left in
prediction.
the Europa right now? Spurs, United, or the other? two?
Athletic Bilbao.
Some-
Athletic
someone else,
Bilbao
some
and
Norwegian team.
Norwegian Bobo.
Ah, the dark horse Norwegian team.
Why do you like dark horses?
Coming from Norway, they can't be done.
answering that question.
Okay, yeah.
Mbappe will never win the Champions League.
Bro, this is like you saying Arteta will never win the Champions League.
Mbappe will never win the Champions
So that
League.
means he will win next season.
No, he won't win the Champions League.
You think so?
I
But
think-
why? Why would you say that? Because
I
of
just-
his attitude.
No, I think he's one of those like R9 never won the Champions League.
But I mean, come on.
He never won the Champions League.
But yeah,
Mbappe
okay,
will
no.
never win the Champions League. I just feel he's one of those players who puts himself above the team.
R9
He
didn't
thinks,
do that.
No, I'm not talking about R9.
Yeah,
I'm talking about that guy was unlucky with
Yeah.
his injuries and stuff.
Yeah.
This guy, I personally feel he's all about himself. When he was at PSG, it was about him.
Yeah, yeah.
Now that he's at Madrid, it's about him as well. I feel he will not win the Champions League, and
Okay.
if that means Madrid not winning for the next
Great.
4-5 years,
Yeah, great.
I think it's
it's a
something
win-win.
that it's a win-win. But yeah, just looking at the way he plays and the setup around him, because some of their own players came out and said we didn't have a centre forward because yes, against Arsenal there were crosses,
Yeah.
but to who?
Nothing, yeah.
There was no
No,
striker there.
I think Madrid have gone backwards after they bought Mbappe purely because I think it's taken away from Bellingham, it's taken away from Rodrigo and Vinicius. And
Vinicius is 11th in the Ballon d'Or ranking now.
from first.
From first
Hey,
last
but,
season.
No, from
you know,
second.
Well,
we'll have a discussion about Ballon d'Or maybe one of our later
Yeah.
next episodes. But there is no clear runner for this
Oh, you
year's
mean this
Ballon d'Or.
season?
This season.
Salah was in it, but now it's over. I don't think he's going to win it.
If you see the current rankings, it's all
Salah's
three.
third, I think.
No, I don't think he's third. I think he's fifth now.
Oh my
Who's
God.
first?
Rafinha. Rafinha.
But to be fair, his numbers, bro. Rafinha's
Rafinha's got-
numbers.
Okay,
He's
maybe.
got like 30 goals and like 12 assists. So
He's
Please
just,
tell
to me,
me
he
Dembele
doesn't.
He could win the
He's-
Champions League.
He
Dembele is
still
there.
does not stand
That's why I
out
want
as a
Inter
Ballon
Milan to
d'Or
win the league.
player.
But this is why I say the whole football as a sport has gone down.
Yeah.
Now your Ballon d'Or winners
Is
are
Rafinha
Rodri and
too.
Rafinha, and from the days of Zidane and Messi.
Okay,
and
Rodri deserved it,
Kaká.
but okay, never mind.
I know, I agree. Rodri deserved it, but when a defensive midfielder wins your Ballon d'Or, you know
Yes.
where football is.
No, but that's
As a whole.
like Cannavaro won it during
Yeah.
that time.
And Italy won the won the
I,
World Cup,
I,
so.
look, okay, fine, but anyways, I don't think Mbappe is.
Fair enough.
Gonna
Okay.
win.
Okay, so I guess that's ended on that note. Then I think I'll just end by saying in the last episode we had a competition where one person would win a free bag of Millie Meal. The last person to like our previous video right before this comes out, so there's still time. So I'll see it and I'll put the name in. I'll put the name in the video, and that person will get a free bag, 25 kg bag of Millie Meal. And
You
won't- it
can't go
be
and
one
like
of
it
us.
now.
It
No,
can't be
I'm
one
not
of
gonna
us.
like
Of
it,
course,
no.
there's no insider trading, so it won't be one of us. But yeah, thank you guys for another good episode. Hopefully, it's something that people enjoy watching, and hopefully, we get another episode out soon. Thank you, Niju, once again. Boys, thank you, and we'll see you soon.
Enjoy the holidays.
Thank you.
Happy Easter, everyone.
Happy
Happy
Easter.
Easter.